Before humanity built cities, before we tilled the soil or forged bronze, there was sweetness, a rare, dangerous liquid gold preserved in the wild heart of nature. For over 100 million years, bees perfected an architecture of survival, turning liquid sunlight into something indestructible. It is the only food on Earth that never spoils. Honey buried in the tombs of kings 3,000 years ago remains as edible today as the morning it was gathered.
Long before it became medicine, currency, or sacred ritual, honey was a desperate obsession, a concentrated burst of pure calories in an unforgiving world. To taste it, early humans risked death, climbing vertical cliffs and braving thousands of venomous stings for a single handful of wax and nectar. Sweetness was not merely a luxury, it was energy, warmth, and survival. It fueled the growing human brain and brought tribes together around the fire.
Across every continent, human culture elevated honey beyond food. It was revered as the tears of gods, the breath of flowers, and the essence of life itself. From the caves of Mesolithic Spain to the royal courts of the pharaohs, honey wove a golden thread through the tapestry of human history. Yet the architects of this miracle remained wild and untamed, keeping the secret of their golden transformation locked inside the dark hollows of the earth. This is the story of how a wild hazard became humanity's liquid gold, shaping medicine, empire, religion, and the very taste of our world. 8,000 years ago, in what is now B Corp Spain, an unknown artist entered the dark depths of the Cave of the Spider to record a moment of perilous bravery. This was the world's first recorded honey hunt. Armed with nothing but grass ropes, smoke, and courage, our ancestors harvested nature's sweet prize. By accident or keen observation, early humans discovered smoke's magic. It pacified the hive, masking their chemical warnings and allowing peaceful entry. In southern Africa, the San people painted honey hunts not just as food gathering, but as a spiritual transformation connecting humans with the spirit world. An extraordinary partnership emerged. The honey guide bird led humans to hives, relying on human axes and smoke to open the fortresses so it could feast on the wax. Across the globe, in Australia, First Nations peoples harvested sugar bag honey from native stingless bees, utilizing it as vital food and traditional medicine. The age of wild hunting began to shift. Humans stopped merely searching for hives and began building homes for them, taking the first steps toward true beekeeping. Archaeological pottery fragments reveal that Neolithic humans mixed honey with wild berries and cereal grains, creating humanity's earliest cooked sweet delicacies. Early hunters quickly learned honey's secret power. Its low water content and high acidity killed bacteria, preserving meat for long journeys across untamed lands. What started as a dangerous forage on sheer cliffs had become a sacred pillar of human survival, setting the stage for the rise of the world's great empires. 5,000 years ago, along the Nile, ancient Egypt transformed beekeeping into a massive industry, building the world's first migratory apiaries on river barges. In Egyptian mythology, bees were sacred divine creation. When Ra cried, his tears fell upon the warm desert sand and turned into golden flying bees. The Edwin Smith Papyrus recorded honey in hundreds of medical prescriptions. Its natural antibacterial properties made it the ultimate ancient surgical dressing. When archaeologists opened King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, they discovered jars of honey over 3,000 years old, still perfectly sweet and preserved. In Minoan Crete, goldsmiths immortalized the bee in fine jewelry.
The bee was revered as a symbol of royalty, organization, and divine rebirth. To the ancient Greeks, honey was ambrosia, the food of the gods that conferred immortality. Poets, philosophers, and athletes consumed it for power and clarity.
Aristotle became one of history's first bee researchers, documenting hive hierarchy and dance-like movements in his masterwork, History of Animals. The Roman Empire commercialized honey production on a massive scale. Honey and beeswax became acceptable legal tender for paying imperial taxes. Honey could also be a deadly weapon. In 67 BC, Roman troops were defeated by mad honey, derived from toxic rhododendrons left behind as a trap by local enemies. Antiquity established honey as food, medicine, and myth. But far to the east, ancient civilizations were weaving honey into their own sacred traditions.
In ancient India, honey was called madhu, a sacred substance praised in the Rig Veda as the essence of cosmic sweetness and divine bliss. The swirling golden paste in the bowl transforms into liquid poured onto a stone carving of a giant wild bee. In the high Himalayas, brave hunters faced the largest bee on Earth, Apis laboriosa, harvesting potent, hallucinogenic cliff honey suspended over terrifying drops. Along the Silk Road, honey was traded alongside silk and jade. It was valued across Asia as both a rare delicacy and an indispensable preservative for fragile medicines. Taoist alchemists viewed honey as a balancing harmonizer. They used refined honey as a binder for herbal pills aimed at attaining longevity and physical immortality. By the Tang dynasty, honey was an essential culinary art form in the imperial palace, used to glaze roasted meats and sweeten delicate lotus pastries. The Shennong Bensao Jing, China's oldest medical text, classified honey as a top-tier medicine, capable of balancing internal organs and prolonging youth without side effects. Across rural China, farmers developed harmonious forest apiaries, using hollow logs integrated directly into house eaves to protect hives from predators. Buddhist traditions celebrated honey in the legend of the monkey's offering to Buddha, a sacred story symbolizing selfless devotion and spiritual purity. East and West were connected by trade routes where honey was universally accepted as a precious medium of exchange, setting the stage for the Middle Ages. In medieval Europe, Christian monasteries became the guardians of beekeeping. Honey was vital, but churches had an even greater need: pure beeswax for candles. Only pure beeswax was worthy of holy altars. It burned cleanly without smoke or smell, making monasteries the premier honey and wax producers of Europe. Honey was the heart of mead, humanity's oldest fermented beverage. For Vikings, Anglo-Saxons, and Slavs, mead was the drink of poetry, victory, and Valhalla. In the vast forests of Eastern Europe and Russia, specialized foresters known as bortniks managed thousands of natural tree hives, trading wax across Europe. Across the Atlantic, the Maya worshipped Melipona, a native stingless bee. Their honey was revered as a sacred medicine and gift from the bee god Amun-Kab. Aztec nobility blended local honey with crushed cacao beans and chili peppers, creating a bitter, sweet, and spicy energy elixir reserved for royalty and warriors. Honey was so valuable that medieval legal codes imposed heavy fines for stealing skeps or cutting down bee trees, punishing honey theft like cattle rustling. For centuries, European honey harvesting carried a tragic price. To extract the honey from straw skeps, the entire colony had to be destroyed in sulfur pits. As the Renaissance unlocked natural science, scholars began searching for a way to harvest honey without slaughtering the gentle creatures that built it. European settlers brought honeybees to the Americas, spreading them across new continents. But the true golden revolution of beekeeping was about to begin.
In 1851, an American minister named Lorenzo Langstroth made a discovery that would revolutionize beekeeping forever and change agriculture on Earth. Langstroth discovered bee space, a precise gap of 3/8 of an inch. If the gap was smaller, bees sealed it. If larger, they built comb. But at exactly 3/8, they left it open. For the first time in 10,000 years, humans could harvest honey and inspect hive health without destroying the comb or killing the colony. 14 years later, Italian inventor Francesco de Hruschka invented the centrifugal extractor, spinning frames at high speed to sling liquid honey out while keeping comb intact. Coupled with comb foundation sheets invented by Johannes Mering, bees no longer wasted energy building base wax, dramatically boosting honey yields worldwide. Beekeeping transformed overnight from a dangerous rural pastime into a massive global industry. Honey production exploded by thousands of %. Trains carried millions of pounds of honey from rural prairies to growing industrial cities, sweetening the tea and baked goods of the modern working class. Moses Quimby's invention of the modern bellows smoker made hive management safe and controlled, completing the toolkit of the modern commercial beekeeper. In the early 20th century, Karl von Frisch decoded the waggle dance, proving bees possessed a sophisticated symbolic language to map nectar locations by solar angle. By the early 20th century, honey had transitioned from a rare luxury for kings into an everyday staple present on breakfast tables across the globe. In the modern era, beekeeping transformed into migratory pollination. Today, billions of bees travel on flatbed trucks to power commercial agriculture. Every February, over 80% of all commercial beehives in North America converge in California to pollinate almond crops, the largest managed pollination on Earth. Commercial processing plants handle millions of barrels annually, filtering, temperature controlling, and packaging honey for international retail distribution. As honey became a global commodity, fraud emerged. Today, nuclear magnetic resonance technology is deployed to verify purity against fake corn and rice syrups. In 1957, the iconic Honey Bear bottle was born, cementing honey's place in global popular culture as the ultimate friendly sweetener. From Paris rooftops to Tokyo skyscrapers, urban beekeeping flourished, proving that honeybees could thrive in modern concrete jungles. New Zealand's Manuka honey revolutionized medical science. Containing high levels of methylglyoxal, it proved capable of healing severe wounds and resisting superbugs. But modern intensity brought crisis. In the 21st century, colony collapse disorder, pesticides, and habitat loss threatened the survival of our golden pollinators. In response, a global movement arose to protect pollinators, restoring wildflower meadows, banning harmful chemicals, and reviving ancient sustainable practices. Today, modern chefs treat single-origin honeys like fine vintage wines, celebrating terroir, blossom origin, and complex flavor profiles. Honey is not just one flavor. Depending on the flower source, it ranges from light acacia sweetness to intense, dark buckwheat notes, rich in minerals. In the mountains of Yemen, honey gathered from ancient cedar trees sells for hundreds of dollars per kilogram, revered for centuries as liquid medicine. On remote Pacific islands, isolated bees produce honey untouched by modern agricultural pollution, capturing the untamed purity of paradise. In the Scottish Highlands, bees harvest heather nectar to produce a unique thixotropic honey, a thick gel that turns liquid only when shaken. In Germany's Black Forest, bees make honey not from blossoms, but from evergreen honeydew, creating a dark, pitch-black syrup packed with resinous pine notes. The world's oldest alcoholic drink is experiencing a global renaissance as craft meaderies blend ancient honey wine traditions with modern fermentation mastery. Across Africa, honey remains the ultimate traditional gift for marriage, symbolizing sweetness, abundance, and the sweet bond between joining families. Innovations like the Australian flow hive reimagined backyard harvesting, allowing families to tap fresh honey directly from hives with zero disturbance to the colony. Today, smart hives, powered by artificial intelligence, monitor temperature, acoustics, and weight, protecting colonies before disease or weakness can strike. Across every culture, continent, and language, honey remains our shared global heritage, a sweet bridge connecting our past to our future. Consider the scale of the miracle. To produce a single pound of honey, bees must visit 2 million flowers and fly over 50,000 miles. It is quite literally liquid sunlight, solar energy captured by blossoms, distilled by insects, and preserved for eternity. Without them, 1/3 of the food we eat would vanish. Bees are not merely honey producers. They are the silent guardians of Earth's biodiversity. The hive offers humanity a masterclass in harmony, proof that millions of individuals can work together for a common purpose greater than themselves. Empires rise and fall, languages fade into history, but honey endures. Taste a drop today, and you taste the exact same sweetness that delighted pharaohs and cave dwellers. From the cliffside caves of prehistory to the smart apiaries of tomorrow, our bond with the honeybee remains an unbroken chain of human wonder. The path forward requires us to become stewards of the nature that nurtured us, ensuring the sweet hum of the hive never fades from our world. Honey sweetened our long walk through history. It sustained our bodies, inspired our sacred myths, built our sciences, and connected our global family. A single drop born from 1,000,000 blossoms, carrying the timeless story of nature's greatest miracle. This is the history of honey, the liquid gold that sweetened the path of humanity, and the golden bond that will guide our future.